None of these are
pretty.
It's very much like backwards design. You start with the end in mind first. What do you want the students to get out of it? What do you want them finally doing, and what skills do you want them to have? And you use all of that and you format a driving question that guides the project and the student's own learning through the unit.
Using regression. And then
I wouldn't go that far. I do it on Excel.
Yeah, obviously.
We do.
It started being mostly as, well, solely as secondary, and then also with some faculty from UND and IUPUI. But we've had more interest as schools, particularly new tech schools, have developed in Indiana. The new tech has not necessarily been embraced by middle school and elementaries, probably because it's so expensive, but yet they want to prepare students so they're ready for the new tech approach when they get to high school. So I think that's partially why there's a growing interest among the elementary population, but then there have been several elementary schools that have been more or less project-based all along, and now they're taking it to the next step.
Ebenezer's experience with conflict during the Industrial Revolution.
This year we did a half-day pre-institute where we had some sessions both for beginners and for those experienced with PBL. So the beginner session really kind of brought them up to speed on some of the terminology and a general framework of the approach, just to give a little bit of background so they felt more comfortable participating in the Institute. And then for some of the more experienced in project-based learning, we offered some sessions on things like assessment, addressing state standards, how all of this fits within some of the testing framework, and just really allowed them to go a little bit more in depth in some of the areas that they felt that they needed some additional information. We're pulling a lot more school teams, particularly high school interdisciplinary teams, which is pretty exciting because we're seeing a new approach at the high school level, really trying to take it across the content areas.
Nice, sweet, whatever. And then he has to tell you.
And it seemed like this was the perfect fit for librarians to be here in whatever capacity we could be to help. And we even have some participants right now who have no librarian at their school. They work at a charter school, and so this is the perfect opportunity for them to sort of pick our brains about what would we do if we were there to assist them, and even give them some outside support once they leave here. We have that option.
You're going to take those post-it notes that your colleagues have written, incorporate those suggestions maybe, or things to think about into your new revised driving question.
Well, we wanted teachers to not only work within their own district, but work with other teachers within the state of Indiana. And so what we did is we put up content disciplines, and we wanted teachers to be grouped by which content discipline they wanted to implement these PBL units. So if they wanted to focus on Algebra 1 as them implementing their PBL unit in Algebra 1, then they would get together with other Algebra 1 teachers to think about what other ideas they can get with other Algebra 1 teachers, and then with other geometry teachers. And so now we're not only networking within their own district or within their own region or area, but really statewide, getting a supportive network of all teachers to work together towards a common goal.
Like, you're not telling them, okay, you're going to create a monument here this day, this day, this day. What do you need to know? If I left the room, I didn't come back.
I see it as like a little small spark that's going to become a slow, good building fire that will last. And I think it's not just about PBL, but it's about how our teaching dispositions change and how we expect students to learn and think, and no longer just spoon feeding them.